as we are in the greater world economy, and among all great world economy, India has become the 5th largest economy, and India has also planned to reach $5 trillion economy by 2025. And for such aims, it's very important to rule out the microfinances, and in such circumstances how self-help groups are working in a positive direction. Hello everyone, welcome to the Economy Primer series of Drishti IAS. I am Ritu, and today we are going to discuss self-help groups and how it is empowering women, because it is said that when a country has empowered women, it means that whole country is into a positive direction and country can be called as developed. So moving to the points of discussion part, first of all we are going to discuss that why this topic is into the discussion, then what are SHGs, then need for SHGs, which is self-help groups, significance of it, issues related with it, and then we'll conclude our lecture. After that we'll discuss practice question for prelims and mains. So moving towards the discussion part, so here we have taken few cutout of newspaper, and this time we have also discussed in the economic survey 2022-3, and the economic survey has also mentioned about the self-help groups can help in widening women's labor force participation. And then government launches campaign to mobilize 1 crore rural women to join self-help group movement. Women self-help groups can be significant contributor to GDP. SHG products to be made available on e-commerce platform Anurag Thakur. 10,000 new self-help groups will be set up in Tamil Nadu, CM Stalin. So what all these cutout says? So in all cutout, we have discussed about the measure about the women contribution, and they are largely talking about the women oriented and women based self-help group. It means that women are the largest contributor of self-help groups, and how they are managing self-help groups we'll discuss in the further lecture. So moving towards the introduction part, that what are the self-help groups? So self-help groups are an informal association. So 95 to 98% of self-help groups are an informal association. They are not registered as cooperative society as other societies. So they are an informal association of people who choose to come together to finance each other and to help economically in their hard times. So this is a very lay person's definition of the self-help groups and what it can be defined as. So when it comes to the better definition, you can use such key terms like self-governed, peer-controlled information, and it has ability to change your socio-economic direction and socio-economic dynamics of a particular community. So that's why they are called as self-help groups, and it encourages self-employment and poverty alleviation. So in the further slide we'll discuss that how it encourages poverty alleviation and self-employment, and what are the objective of the self-help group. So it helps the marginalized in the field of employment, and it also able to resolve the conflicts through collective leadership and mutual discussion. And the most beneficial about self-help group is that it provides collateral free loan. So what is this collateral free loan? That suppose that if you are taking loan from a bank, then you have to show your assets, you have to show your property. So in the area of self-help group, you don't have to show your property, you don't have to guarantee anything. So that is called as collateral free loan. So the biggest achievement of self-help group is to provide collateral free loan, which provides self-employment and which is also helpful in poverty alleviation. So all these terms are interrelated and correlational in nature. So moving to the next slide. Next slide is about that what are the need of SHG. It means that self-help groups. So eradication of the rural poverty. So most of the self-help groups are very much active in the rural areas. And when it's come to the urban poverty and rural poverty has a different kind of features and phenomena. So in that poverty kind of thing, self-help groups helps a lot, because it is a group in which so many women and so many men unite together, and especially women, and if they collect money together, and if any women need money for their self-establishment or any kind of loans or any kind of economic problems they are facing, the group provide them loan with very minimal interest or sometimes without interest. So that phenomenon is called as self-help groups, and it is helpful in eradicating rural poverty because it provides loan to a particular person, and that person uses that money for the self-employment to generate any business. So in that way the person has a means of livelihood, and in that way we can eradicate poverty. Moving to the credit linkage. So in the rural areas, most of the people are not aware about the banking facilities, and in many areas we have a far away banks from the particular village. So in that circumstances, self-help groups help a lot, and it provides credit linkage to the women, and especially to the marginalized section of the society. Social capital: with the help of self-help groups, many women and many men unite together for a particular cause. So it also helps to develop a social capital, and when you have a social capital, then definitely it is going to help in the economic capital, because they are financially helping each other also. Then improved literacy: so suppose that if any person needs money to fund his or her child education, so in that way also they are taking money and they are taking loan to fund their children's education. It means that it is improving the literacy rate of particular family. So overall we can see that improvement in literacy rate of a particular village or particular household. So this can also brings the improved literacy and then better healthcare, because many times we have seen that primary healthcare facilities are not available in the rural areas, and if you have money, then you can jointly together set up a clinic, and you can also fund any doctor if any person is suffering particular kind of the problem. So in that way the person is available for good treatment. So it also provides better health care. Moving to the next slide. Next slide is about that what is the significance of the self-help groups. So social integrity, we know that with the help of self-help group, women have become so much empowered, and because of that empowerment they are able to eradicate many social evils like the alcoholism, dowry system, and these all social evils have economic benefits. So if you don't have alcoholism in your family, then the money which is spent on the alcohol, it is spent on the child's education, it is spent on the food, and it is also spent to raise the standard of living. So it helps to maintain the social integrity. Then gender equity, because this self-help group has empowered most of the women. So in that sense, it has provided gender equality. And then voice of the marginalized sector, because women are mostly marginalized and it is mostly active in the rural areas where most of the marginalized section lives, and SC/ST population, tribal population have a different kind of self-help group. So in that sense it gives voices to the marginalized section, and if they have voices, then they can be more economically aware, they can know the importance of education, they can know the importance of financial inclusion, financial literacy. So in that sense, it is empowering marginalized section economically, politically, and socially also. Then financial inclusion, we already have discussed that financial inclusion consists various parameters like healthcare, education, banking facilities. So with the help of self-help group, if you have social capital and if you have money, then financial inclusion will come to your family, because you will better focus on your primary health care, on your education, on the overall family's education. So in that say, it has the ability to financially include so many people. And then alternate source of employment. So suppose that if any women working as a homemaker or household worker, then she has that ability that with the help of self-help group and with the help of money provided by the self-help group, she can she can open a center of sewing machine, she can open a center of parchun shop, she can open a center of various other activities. So in that sense, it provides an alternate opportunity. They can sell their milk, they can sell their cow dung products. So in that sense, they are empowering women and they are providing an additional source of income, because they are already working as a homemaker, and it means that they are saving lots of money as a homemaker. And with the help of their home and along with their household works, if they are earning money for their livelihood, and that money can be utilized for their children's education, for the whole family welfare. So it means that poverty is eradicated, the standard of living is rising in the country. So these are the significance of self-help groups. Moving to the next slide, which is what are the issues we have with the self-help group. The first issue is that upgradation of skills. So whatever the self-help groups are working in our country, they are mostly in a traditional approach. They lack so many technological advances, they lack so many banking facilities. So this kind of issues we have in the self-help groups. And then weak financial management. So what we are hearing that, they collect very few amount of money, And since they are not much financially literate, most of the women are illiterate, most of the women are only 10th pass, only 8th pass, so they don't know how to manage the finances, because they don't have financial literacy kind of thing. They don't know how to invest in the mutual fund, how to invest in the stock market, how to make more money from this small amount of money. So these kind of problems we have. Then inadequate training facilities, it is related to the first 2 points, because self-help groups are mostly rural based, tribal based and remote based areas, women based areas, so they don't have a particular training facilities. And if they have also training facility, that's in a very traditional approach. They don't learn many new technological advancement, many new skills. So this is also one of the scheme. Lack of stability also, because this is mostly women based group, and most of the women have to migrate, they had to follow the patrilocal system after the marriage. So if any woman is investing in any particular self-help group, and if she married to another village or another state, then they lost that kind of connectivity. And what happened, that most of the unmarried women are not willing to join self-help group, because somewhere they know that if they will be married, their investment will go, and because they have to migrate to the other village or other city or other state. So in that sense, it provides instability to the self-help group. And then inadequate financial assistance, because they are mostly self-funded and they are not sponsored by anyone. So it has also this kind of loophole, which makes them very limited. So these are the issues we have. Coming to the next slide, which is conclusion. So what conclusion we have derived? We have discussed various economic benefits which has been provided by the self-help group, because it is able to eradicate poverty from our society, and most lakhs of women are working as a self-help groups. They're also training themselves, they're also empowering each other. But what happens, that why these things are only women based, and why these things are only rural based? These things should be elevated to the town area also, the Kasbah area also, the city area also, where in cities also many marginalized people live, many underprivileged people live. So this should be not just limited to the rural areas or to the women. It should be also expanded to the cities also, the towns also, where the marginalized can get benefit from this. So this is the loopholes we need to solve from this. On the other hand, we have seen various positive changes from the self-help groups, because women has become empowered and they have become financially independent. And if women has become financially independent, the whole household has become independent, more literate, they have more knowledge about the financial literacy. On the other hand, we have also this problem of the banking facilities, because most of the banks are not connected with the self-help groups. We have few schemes and few facilities related to the NABARD, but most of the rural banks are not connected with the self-help groups. So that makes them very informal, and also the self-help groups are not recognized or registered in nature. So like cooperative societies which have a constitutional base, we need to have a constitutional base for the self-help groups, and it should be also in a registered form. On the other hand, Government of India has launched various schemes related to self-help groups. So it needs to be widened up, and it needs to be reached to the rural masses also. We have few example of Kudum Shri, then Mahila Manthan of Maharashtra. So we have a very good example of self-help groups which are succeeding in a very positive direction. So we need to take inspiration from all these self-help groups, and it should be widened to the rural areas, to the tribal areas, to the remote areas, to the coastal areas, and also to the town and cities areas, so that it can help the most marginalized section of the society. Moving towards the next slide. Next slide is about practice question for prelims. Self-help groups are an integral part of various development programs in India. What is the primary objective of promoting SHGs? So this can be tricky also, but you have to give answer. Enhancing political participation of women, promoting microfinance and entrepreneurship, reducing unemployment among rural youth, improving access to healthcare in urban areas. I think after this much of discussion, you already know the answers, so kindly comment. Moving to the mains point of view, which is discuss the role and significance of self-help groups in the socio-economic development of rural areas in India. So first, what you have to do, that you have to define that what is SHG. And then you can also give few examples of SHGs. And then role and significance. So we already had discussed the roles. You can make flow chart like this: social integrity, eradication of poverty, empowerment of women, financial literacy, financial inclusion, you can write that, literacy, education. So these are the benefits and roles provided by the self-help groups. However, in the conclusion part, that Government of India is working in a positive direction. It is launching various portals, it is launching various apps, and we have already discussed that Anurag Thakur has said that it will provide benefit to the self-help group and their products will be launched to the various e-commerce platform, which is very good sign for the self-help groups, and it will be a major boost for their confidence. But what we have to do, that we have to expand these kind of schemes to every area, and it should not be just limited to the southern part of the country or eastern part of the country. We have seen the news that Tamil Nadu CM Stalin is also working into this direction. But Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, these are already developed state and they are developing in a very positive direction. But when coming to the Bihar, Uttar Pradesh, Odisha, we need to widen the scope of self-help group to these states, and their women should come together, and especially the SC/ST population. Odisha has a ST population, Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, they have a huge ST population, and they have self-help groups which are working in condition, but it is not reaching to the remotest area. So many products, good products, the crafts are making by the tribal population of our country, but it is not reaching to the Delhi, it is not reaching to Bombay, and if it is reaching to the various cities or various big business person, there are so many intermediaries who eats the money of the most marginalized section, who eats the money of the tribal section. So there should be the direct contact between the government portals and the buyers and the sellers. So there should be a facility that we can directly contact to the tribal and we can directly purchase from them. The intermediary should not work for them, and we need to look for their finances also. So that's it for today's lecture. The PDF of this section will be provided to the today's description section, so you can avail the Telegram channel from there, and you can get PDF from the Telegram channel. So thank you for today's class. Thank you.